Alright, what's up, y'all? We back with another live stream right now. So before we get started, we're gonna do the same routine we do every single day. Starting with promoting that we're going on right now. Alright, let's get started. So the first thing we do is we check what news we have for the day. So the only thing we have in terms of news is the news at 2 p.m. So if I ever get a trade today and I'm holding that trade, I need to be mindful of the news that's at 2 p.m. and stuff like that, right? So that's one thing. A lot of traders, you'll be surprised who aren't aware of the red news, the high impact news. So they can be entering a trade at the exact moment just for it to, you know, slip them because of how certain news events work. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same thing I do every time. I'm gonna log into my accounts to show y'all because I didn't take any trades yesterday. I only took one trade this whole month, and it's all recorded on the stream, so you can match up the balance since the last trade and stuff like that. So account right here. Just log in. Go into this, and we have my funded account right here. You can basically see the drawdown is the same. Still in drawdown. Haven't found much trades. Um, yeah, we can go here. This is the next account right here. And if I just refresh the page since it was just already on it. And as you can see right here, this is the equity. This is not the actual drawdown. The drawdown is 4.8, right? Got a equity curve. I would say my equity curve could be better, you know. So that's what we need to work on. But other than that, I know if I just keep following my rules, I'll continue to be profitable. But we're gonna go ahead and analyze these charts right now to see what's going on. We're gonna start off with hey, why not? Let's look at USD JPY. Why not? Why not? All right. So if I look at the daily on USD JPY, then moving bearish. That's the flow on the daily. Let's see. Okay, we're actually moving pretty good on this 5 hour right here. Had a flush. We had price on pause at the 10, pushed down nicely. made it 20 and then it's pushed down nicely. So I'm gonna label this right here. In terms of the context time frame, we have the C flush right there. We have this structure one, and then we can jump down to 30 minutes. So I just do top. It's basically just top down analysis before I jump down to the 5 minute. This is actually looking good. This is actually looks clean. Actually, really, really, really clean. So what I see over here is we have the validation because I call this the validation time frame. Validation. I'm gonna call it the V flush because basically you want to see the same thing happening on the context time frame, which is validation time frame. And we're just gonna count the breaker structures. We can count this as one. This whole area is one because it's so close to each other. This came back into it, so I can call this validation breaker structure one. This whole area as a pause on the 10 or 20. Those are where the breaks are. You could say this whole thing is two as well because it's the same concept where this whole thing is in it. So so usually what you would notice is 4 to 5 after you get the flush happening. So what I'm gonna wait for is I'm gonna wait for a nice pause. So basically the third one, you pause against the MAs, the 10 or 20, and see if the on lower time frames look clean. Um I have to make sure that price isn't solid. It's not caught up in any consolidation. So me looking at this lower time frame right now, what do I notice? I notice there's some consolidation right here, just sideways action. So me seeing that, low-key, this area doesn't look nice because if it came back into this area right here, if it's still in this area, it could potentially chop around in this area. So what I would want basically is for it to come up and immediately starts to create the setup down here, not anywhere up here, because then I could get chopped out of the move. But USD JPY don't look too bad. Why not have it on my, let me add it to my watch list right here. So I can be like, okay, I can put between it. So what you're gonna just notice with my live streams is the amount of patience. Like, when you're back testing, you don't realize how much patience you have during back testing because everything's fast. And the reason why, you feel different is just because of the time. So I'm looking at Bitcoin right here. This, yeah, Bitcoin. I marked this out yesterday, so we had the flush. You can basically just see the same thing all over and over right here. Um, the context time frame looks good, but the validation, which is the 30 minute, doesn't look too clear to me. Flushing right now is just in a no trade area for me personally. Let's see what's going on with on gold. Gold specifically for lower time frames is not ready. Anybody trading in lower time frames could possibly get chopped out, or it's not showing me signs right now. But right now it's not in a good area for me to potentially trade this long. Actually, I lied. Hold on, I lied. Because what we have here is we have a potential start of the cycle right here. We have a potential start of the cycle right here where price accumulated out of this area. But honestly, yeah, I am gonna wait because the validation structure, even though it accumulated out of this area, I could wait for more of a like a start of the cycles starting like a more of a move pushing higher. Because yeah, it could what's it called? It could start moving sideways in this area, which wouldn't be good for any lower time frame traders. And me personally, my edge comes from looking to catch a trend. I'm not gonna get it all the time, but yeah. Let me see what the other markets are talking about. Okay, so I marked this out yesterday. I was like, USD doesn't look clean because it's this area. Anybody trading in this area was getting chopped out likely. Your USD actually looks potentially clean. We have the flush right here. Price comes under all the MAs. Just obviously I don't just trade MAs by itself. I have the context breaker structure where you um basically like just came down like this, right? You can consider um this the flush if you wanted to right here, and then this right here is the potential context breaker structure one. So if I go into 30 minutes, let me see what's going on with that 30. So instantly what I noticed is have a nice move down, then we ended up consolidating in this area right here. Honestly, there's what out now. There would be better things to trade, better things. Um, USD CAD looks like it's still in a range that I drew out. Yeah, still in a range that I drew out. I want a clean breakout of that area before I look for anything. Yeah. So that's one so far. Probably yeah. Nope. USD JPY did look. Yeah, I would probably just go with USD JPY. Yeah, most likely. We just got to see how it moves. But in the meantime, I could really just check what the others are doing. All right. So let me see. I'm gonna look at first the mean like forest periods indices, stuff that I can trade all together because I don't have all the stocks on my 100 accounts. Let's check out Ethereum because Bitcoin is looking not ready, but let's check Ethereum because Ethereum could be looking a little bit better in the forest part. Other Ethereum, yeah, Ethereum. Um, oops, wrong button. Just so I can see clearly. But, nah, 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 it's not ready. Ethereum not ready. Go over here. See why potential. I can look at next. What's that? So your job as a trader is just to show up every day and analyze. It doesn't take much time to show up and analyze. That's the bare minimum. Bare minimum. Wow, that is completely bearish. Hey, hold on. Let me. Wow, that was a heavy at something else. Um, USD, NVCAD, take a look at US 30. That's all I'm doing. Just taking nothing going on. Yeah, I've just hopped on like not too long, just a few minutes, just checking out all the markets to see what's looking the best. See what's looking the best right now. Let me see what's going on. US 30 bearish. Let me see what's going on with the lower time frames. Actually, US 30 may set up something. So I'm looking at this context time frame. What I see here, I do see a cycle happening. So we got the context flush right here. You consider this right here. Um, context breaker structure one. Potentially is pausing at 10 and 20, pushing down. So this is the context breaker structure two right here. So let me jump down to the lower time frame. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see what's going on here. So we had a flush. We had break one, two, and then we ended up reflushing again right here. Pausing at the 10 and 20 right there. Let me see what the 5 minute talking about. Trying to see how we consolidated in this area. So we have, so this is how I could tell consolidation, basically. If we are just breaking back and forth, I talked about this before, but so what we have here is we broke down, we broke up, we broke down, we broke up, we broke down, broke down, broke up, broke up, broke down, broke down, broke down, broke down, broke down, broke up. This is like consolidation to me, so I would ignore this price action right here. I want like just a clean area based on based on what I'm testing. It's just going back and forth, taking out highs and lows. So yeah, I'm not interested in that. Um, I'm gonna take a look at some of the stocks real quick. But so far, the best one looks like USD JPY for shorts. Best one so far. I'm trying to not really look at stocks because I don't have much of them to trade. Let me go on that. So I already know they're bearish, so we can just analyze them before the market opens. Let me see. Our time frame looks good. Let me see. Are we overextended in this move? So we had a flush here. Consider this as like the one, two, three, four. This whole thing can be considered the four. So we're in the fourth one. So we still have room to go like one more extension on this higher time frame lifts. Automatically, I could tell like I don't want to get involved just because of this huge consolidation range. It's just something I've been looking at from my journal and all my testing that the best entries are just the ones that just immediately flush and then create the entries. It doesn't consolidate first and then create the entry. Like I really just been testing that and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I'm gonna ignore this price action right here. Um, I'm guessing probably like the other stocks are moving the same way with that consolidation area. Let me see. So we broke up, broke up, broke down, broke down. none of this is really like showing me clarity. We go on a higher time frame. So we flushed. So this like the first, second, third, pausing against the MAs, the higher time frame. And then I can automatically just break up, break up, break down. Yeah, this is just the reality of trading. Trading is just really boring. You just show up, show up, show up, show up, analyze. That's all you do. All you gotta do is just do the same thing that you back tested, but it's just a longer wait because now you're in real time. That's why I suggest like people who back test need to demo test that same thing after because you're not gonna feel the actual time. You don't feel the actual time when you're back testing. Like if I talk about my testing results, I need a lot. I use a lot of patience before waiting for a setup. I use a lot of patience before waiting for a setup. Like if you look at any of my back testing results, you'll see that there's certain months. If I'm trading one pair, there's certain months I don't trade. I can go like 3 to 4 months without a trade and trade 2 times that pair out of the year, or maybe 3 4 times. But that doesn't mean I can't look at other markets to see if there's any opportunities based on what I look for. Um, yeah, Google's probably saying the same thing. Let me just check it out. First, one, two. Yeah, it's saying the same thing. So the best one, I'm gonna keep my eye out on USD JPY. That's the best looking one so far. Cause based on everything else, I could look at everything else a little bit later, give it some time. But right now, the best one is just USD JPY in terms of the cycle. But I want it to set up in a certain way. Like I don't want it to set up within where I don't want it to set up within this like completely in the consolidation. If it's gonna on setup, I want it to do something like this, where let me get out my path tool. My path tool at. It's gonna set up. I want it to do something like where we just come up here, maybe not too deep inside of it, right? And then we come out of it like that, and then my entry would probably be the sell stop of the low right here, right there. And you can just notice how strategies will align with each other. Like if somebody else is looking at this as a break and retest, they may take like a sell right here, or if they see like a demand area right there and they take a sell. Like there's so many ways to trade and stuff like that. You just need to find the correct context of the market to trade in. Basically, that's all it is. So most of these, it took me oh, it took me like 2 years to realize, oh, it doesn't matter the strategy you trade. The reason why it may have not worked for many people, a strategy is because they're trading just the pattern and not the context of the market. Because if I come into any market and I'm looking for my setup, which is basically in a bullish market, we have a trend going on, and then we got an impulse, a pause, then I buy stop the high. If I'm just taking that anywhere, because you can see that setup happens everywhere that input because that's basically just structure happening. I'm buy stopping structure or sell stopping structure or buy stopping demand, whatever you want to call it. That happens everywhere. So if I don't have a filtering criteria of when I should enter it, then I'm gonna just be taking everything and anything, and that's gonna just give me more random results. You want it to be as consistent as possible, and especially from my mentor, it's been saying about like more of a filtering process. So that's what I've been working on. Where okay, how do I take less trades? Because less trades don't mean you're gonna make less money. Of course, it doesn't. Especially when you're looking at multiple markets as well. When you're refining to a certain point where you're just looking at okay, this little area, like this little tiny area, then you're gonna do way better than the person that's looking at everything basically. So we are coming up close to the 50. So what I want to see, because probably it's pausing by the 10 on the high on the validation time frame. So as long as it comes close to that 50, at the 50 or slightly under the 50, and it doesn't start chopping inside of this area, and it just immediately creates the setup from there, and I'm good. So it can create the setup now since it's close to the 50. Because if we look at it right now on the validation, and rid of all of this right here, you can see that it's coming close to that 20 to potentially continue that overall trend. I just realized as well I have to wait for a pause as well. So I have to wait for this candle to close. So that's one thing I have to wait for. So a pause is basically you have a candle that prints and then the next candle prints without taking out the low. So we're pausing against either the 10 or the 20 right here. Now I basically need to, after that candle closes on the 30-minute, I need to watch how price is moving at that area. Is it moving sideways in this area, or is it creating clear fractal structure, which is basically the entry, clear entry. That's the things I need to ask myself before I take an opportunity. Nothing is gonna help you by being impatient in the market at all. It's just because I know everybody can relate to this where when they weren't impatient, let's just say they had a nice winning trade and then they weren't impatient and then they kept trading and trading and they're trading everything and then they gave up a lot of that profit when you would have been better off by being just patient. But like I said, patience is it's a very hard thing to have, especially when you only just back tested or you didn't back test at all. Like you have to do that demo testing right after that back test. You have to. Or even if you don't have like a demo, like I mean everybody can get a demo account, but even if that, like if you can just show up to the market every session and just place a pretend trade, like if you see your setup right here, you place your trade and then you leave the chart or you act like you're managing the chart as it's going for like 6 months and you gather that data, that's even better. But the thing is, like, a lot of people just want to get rich quick, and they're wondering why they're blowing so many accounts. Like, if you look at the actual professional traders, not the people that claim they can trade on YouTube or anything like that, like the actual professional traders, they're not sitting here saying how can I flip my account, right? It doesn't matter how much money you have. Like people can say, oh, they probably have way more money. Let's just say they wanna flip $1 million to $1 billion. That's a crazy percentage gain. They're not thinking about that, and I understand that you know most people only have $100 and they want to make more money off of that $100, but that's the wrong way to go about it, and that's what the trading space does. The way how they make it seem is they basically put you in this cycle where you think it's correct to trade like crazy, high risk with $100. Whole time you're probably a very good trader with, but it's the way how they programmed it online. So if you don't have much capital, like something like I do, funded accounts, but it does the funded accounts don't come until like you don't just apply for it, right? You need to do the actual process before doing that because if you're just applying for challenges, how do you think you're gonna pass one when you don't have confidence in your strategy? You don't know what your strategy does, or you because most people what they do is they look up a strategy on YouTube. Even I did this in the beginning of my journey. Look up a strategy on YouTube, and they're automatically on the charts with their live account looking for that strategy, and then when it doesn't work, their psychology is messed up. Of course, your psychology is gonna be messed up because you don't have confidence. It goes with any industry. In order to actually feel confident with what you're doing, you need to do it multiple times with repetition. And a lot of people will teach you to just open up that live account so you can actually feel the market with repetition. But I feel like that's a bad way to go about it because all you're doing is just burning through money. Most of the times you people just end up doing the same mistakes over and over. It's not teaching anything. Rather than you will learn much quicker when you just actually test the system for a number of trades a good amount of sample size of trades. Screenshot those images, look over those images, improve over time, back test. Then when you feel extremely confident, you're actually putting money into a challenge or into a broker account that you can afford to lose, and then you do the same thing. That's all it is. That's all it is. Like even if you look at if you don't know about Darwin X, it's something I signed up with as well. They basically it's a company where you trade. They don't have no max drawdown like prop firms because even the 10% max drawdown, like if you look at professional traders, they do have 10%, even 20% drawdowns. I've seen those before, but they're still consistent. Like if you go with a company with Darwin X, they give you real investor capital when you actually trade and you build up your own track record with them. They're not looking for people that's making 10% per month. That's a really crazy number because think about it. Yes, a 10% month is possible, but 10% per month. Think about it. You're gonna have times in the market where the market condition isn't great. You're gonna have times where you take losses. You're gonna have times where you can't be at the chart. Maybe you get sick throughout the year. All those factors come into play, and then over time, it is very impossible to average that yearly. There's a few professional traders, like a very, 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 very small amount that came close to 10%, but not actually 10%. So that's so I feel like a lot of people just need to start at the foundation. Start at the foundation because even though I'm profitable, I'm not like insanely, insanely profitable, right? But it's still a foundation where I'm still looking to improve. I still journal. I still look over my trades. I still back test. Even last night, I was back testing my theory about this consolidation. Even the day before that, so I've been just testing it out, especially. That's the only way you can improve. If you look at my channel as well, I'm just talking while I'm waiting for this to play out, but if you look at my channel, you can see over time, like, yeah, I took some L's, along the way, but each way, I, each time I bounce back because I always look to improve. You don't fail until you give up. That's one thing I learned too. You don't fail until you give up, but you still got to be logical with your decisions. People take that. I feel like some people take that in a different way with trading, or they're just okay. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna keep throwing money at the markets and hope something sticks. That's not what I mean by that. Actually, follow the proper process. So my process is me just showing up to the markets, see if something makes sense. If it makes sense, I'll take risk on it. If I take a loss, I move on. If I take a win, I move on repeatedly over and over and over. I done seen profitable traders with down years before, even a down year, which like the whole trading community is not gonna talk about that. You can still even be profitable, averaging um 24% a year, even with a down year, because I think people think when somebody says, "Oh, you can make 2% a month," or 2 to 5% a month, something like that, they think that you're consistently just getting that every single month when that is just an average. That's just an average. And that's why I'm like really comfortable with just showing y'all like um, my history and everything. I can just tell y'all like I'm on a 3 month drawdown right now. Yeah, the drawdown sucks because I wanna make some I wanna like withdraw some money, you know? Especially when you have videos on YouTube where people are constantly showing profits. They're not showing you their losses. They're not showing you their account history, and it's making you feel like you're doing worse. When if you actually look at other results of people that's been trading for years, a 3 month drawdown is actually normal. 3 month drawdown is actually normal if you really think about it. And people get so worked up about 1 week of drawdown. I'll be like, what you so worked up about? Follow your system, keep going, and just trade. Trade what you tested. And one thing I do during my like back test as well is I use this tool right here. So say if I took a trade like all the way up here, like somewhere right here, and then I'm playing it forward and I haven't found an opportunity, I would drag this along and be like, how long did it take me to find my next opportunity? Sometimes it will be like, okay, it took me a day to find my next opportunity. Sometimes it was like, okay, it took me 30 days to find my next opportunity. But a lot of people just throw in the towel when they're back testing and be like, oh, my strategy only makes 10% for the year. How just think about how can you scale that up? Do you need to trade more markets? And trading more markets doesn't mean you're going to be losing more money. It just means that you just need to find the actual context that matches. Because you can just see I have a whole bunch of markets on here. Yet I probably take less trades than most people, even on a 5 minute time frame. Because I need everything to align with what I'm used to seeing. I don't care about the latest strategy or anything like that. I don't care about that because I know what's gonna keep making me money. And even though my previous payouts aren't all the greatest payouts of all time, at least they're multiple on throughout the years, and they're just gonna get better, bigger, because what I'm doing is I'm focusing on gaining capital. I have more capital than when I first started seeing results, which means this year I'm naturally gonna me doing the same amount of work I did last year, as in like the execution, is just gonna make me more money because of the capital. People don't think about the capital, like the long term aspect of it. If you do the same like you do the same amount of work you're doing right now in terms of execution, you're gonna make more money because you're gonna be gaining more capital. It just cause and effect. So what I'm seeing from right here, if we can make a nice setup right now, like we push down. I wanted to also pause on the 10 and 20. I've been testing which one I like better because there's I like I'll classify there's like two types of entries where we can have the normal one where it just completely creates the setup where it breaks through the MAs and then pauses like that and then you can sell stop. But I've been testing both of them. I've been switching between both of them. That's something I need to stop doing as well. But because they're still the same thing, but there's two types of it. That's what you got to understand. There's gonna be types like you could call this like type 8 where it looks something like I'm trying to find an example. Trying to find an example. Like let's just say this one right here where we moved down, we moved up, and let's just say this one followed through right here. You see how it's just breaking through the MAs like that? I'll call this like type 1. These entries can work right here, and obviously it gets invalidated. You will cancel the order once it gets through the high, but these ones can work. But I like the better ones like this one right here. This one is a good example where you know we flushed to the 50, came down, nice pause, sell stop right there. Or even if it can just at least just pause. It doesn't have to be just pause on the 10 or 20, the red or black line. One of those. So it's moving down. I can just wait. Wait, actually, did I wait? Did I even wait for my candle to close? I didn't even wait. I almost missed that. So I got 8 minutes either way. Either way, there's nothing to do right here, but I gotta wait for this candle to close in 8 minutes. Then I'll see what's going on here. See if there's anything to take risk on, because that's all trading is: finding a good market and putting capital behind that risk, putting capital behind that market. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less to it. Drop my phone. Nothing more, nothing less. So honestly, if USD JPY just doesn't do what I'm expecting, then probably I'm just gonna be hopping off the charts, cause or or not, I can just still check if has clarity. But if none of the other things have clarity, I already know that I'm just gonna have a no trade day. But so far, everything is moving in line. So far, pausing against the 10, just waiting for that candle to close before taking out this low right here, and I'm gonna see if I can get a trend out of it, because that's where edge comes out. You just need to find edge. Edge is just giving yourself an advantage, an unfair advantage over the market. Like an unfair advantage for me, like with my trading, is basically break even at a 1-to-1. So it's basically quick break evens. So most of my trades will be break evens. But a lot of people don't not gonna like that. Oh, most of your trades are break evens. You're not making money. Well, that's where they're wrong, because when I analyze my trading, most of my setups that actually run, that like, or even go into profit, they usually just go. They usually just go. So it makes sense for me to just break even at 1-to-1, let it do its thing. If it wants to go, it's gonna go. Okay, I'm saving a lot more money, and most of my losses, right? They're just they're gonna just chop around in the same area and then fail. Chop around in the same area and fail. I looked over. I have so much um data to look back at, and most people don't even have a journal to look back at it. So that's how, like, okay, yeah, I talked about the first part. I stopped. So that's one way I can give myself a huge advantage. So breaking even quick, right? So if the market proves me wrong, I'm saving money right there. And then whenever I'm right, I could potentially get a runner. And one thing I was looking at of my trading as well is just because it's just having a smaller stop now. So I replaced cutting losses with having a smaller stop, because I noticed either way, like I talked about, if my trade is about to lose, because I have so many images, like y'all don't even understand. But if my trade was about to lose either way, it's gonna fail that whole area, even where my stop is most likely. That's not like 100% guaranteed. There's certain outliers where it's gonna tap and then it's gonna go, but I don't care about that. I care about what happens most of the times. So that being said, me like making my stop smaller, right, is gonna help me get more out of the market, right? Help me have quicker break evens. So it's just more upside to it as well. So I try not to make too much changes and stuff like that. It, it is it's not really a good thing to make too much changes. Um, but if it doesn't really like affect the bottom line, then it's okay. But I try not to make too much changes, because when you're back testing, like think about it, you're back testing for years doing the same thing, but it's all happening quick, you know? So so far we just have like 4 minutes for this candle to close and stuff like that. For 3 minutes. It's about to close in 3 minutes, and then I can watch what's going on. If it's gonna set something up. Now, one thing y'all gotta realize too is analysis does not equal. It's, like when your analysis fails, it doesn't mean that you lost money. It doesn't mean that you lost money. But a lot of the times when somebody's strategy fails, like the analysis fails, they will let that they'll basically let that they will let that what's it called, sink in with their trading. Basically meaning if their analysis fails, they're still trading. If my analysis fails, it either means that I took a break even, small loss, or no trade at all. Most of the times, no trade at all. So it's looking good. Looking good. So we're waiting for the 2 minutes, and after the 2 minutes, because I gotta wait for this candle to close. Basically, I would when this candle is done printing, I need one more pause. As long as it's rejecting off of the 10 and 20, either or, and then I'll definitely take an opportunity because this actually looks good so far. Then just keep in mind, like one thing I do is when I show up to the markets, I don't expect to take a trade. My only job is just to analyze, and if there's an opportunity, then I take a risk. But because I can expect this, be waiting for it, and then this happens. Oh no, crazy move! What did USDJY do? I don't care, because it just did the opposite. I didn't take no trades. I'm not in it, so there's nothing to do. That's all it is. That is all it is. And if I do end up getting trade, I'm gonna just, I'm gonna show y'all the P&L. I'm gonna be managing the trade. I will say for if I do get a trade, I'm not gonna be taking partials. Uh, if y'all remember, I do before I would wait for the validation time frame and wait for 3 candles. When I looked at my testing based on the entries, I would have been better off if I just held the full position and just closed by the on my entry time frame, hold the full position and closed by the close of the 10 EMA, which is the black line. So it's say if I entered, let's just say I got some type of entry right here, right? I would hold it until the it breaks that 10, as long as it's at a 2R or above a 2R. And this actually doesn't even affect it doesn't even affect my bottom line at, like as much. It actually increases my bottom line when I looked at it because when I'm waiting for 3 candles on the validation time frame, it actually lines up with when price would actually continue. It actually lines up with price continuing with the 10 and closing under it. It actually lines up most of the time. And most of the times I'm just gonna make more money overall with it. But that's what I'm sticking to. Not trying to change anything up anymore. But as far as the full strategy, because there's so much ways to manage. Oh shoot, it's potentially setting up. I'm here talking. Let me set this up right now. Yeah, let me set this up. It's pausing so far. As long as we don't break through the MAs, so I'm gonna set this up. I'm using this ATR for stop placement and stuff like that. So um, I could just do something like just a little slightly above. Oh, what am I doing right here? I gotta hurry up. I am so slow. Okay, something like this. Uh, if we can still just reject, it can still reject, but I'm just watching it and getting it prepared just in case it doesn't um it just in case it does reject. Because I judge price based on the close. So I'm getting everything ready just in case it rejects. I'll basically just, if it rejects or finish one on 1 minute, then I'm gonna just mark it, execute it for spread reasons. What's that saying? I can keep it stopped just like that. It's not like that makes sense to me. Actually, I'm keep it same stops. 19, 19, 21, maximum, 44. So I'm not gonna, based on how it's looking right now, it doesn't look like it's gonna reject, but I'm still waiting for it fully to make a decision. Alright, so I'm not interested in this area right here. So what I would want for price to do is basically just, if we can come down even more, then reject off either the 10 or 20, then I'll take the entry. If price starts to consolidate, then I'm not interested. We're just gonna stay patient for what we're waiting for. Just staying patient for what I'm waiting for. All about waiting. Like, don't get me wrong, these setups can work well and do work. I just been doing a lot of refinement. Just waiting and waiting. So far everything is just moving in line. So like I say, every stream, the point of these, a lot of stream is just to show y'all. It's not for y'all to take the same trades as me or none of that. It is to show y'all that execution over time is gonna make money. Because we're too focused on the trade by trade. That when that's not how um professional traders think, or anyone who has made money over time with trading knows it's not about the trade by trade. It's really not. That's why a lot of people, they can't accept to be wrong. They don't like taking a break even and stuff like that. So while I'm waiting, one thing to talk about is um certain traders, like, if I feel like if I would tell certain traders think, because they trade a certain strategy, everybody should trade that strategy. Or because I break even my trades so early and they don't do that, I should do what they're doing. When in reality, they have to understand that every strategy is going to function differently. And for example, like what I notice is most of the time when you're entering a trade, let's just say you're entering a trade at a major like support or resistance area, or like just a major area like that. I notice most of the times that it may not be favorable for you to break even your trades, because sometimes at a major support or major resistance, price can test it a couple times before going in your direction. But something like me, I'm not entering at a major support or anything like that. I'm waiting for just a trending market that looks a certain type of way. And yeah, it's gonna make sense for me to do quick break evens. But those over time of me taking those break evens, small losses, is gonna be rewarding. So what I see is it took out this high. So I gotta be careful about this area right now. I gotta make sure it doesn't actually consolidate in this area. So what I want for price to do is just take out this low right here, pause nicely against the 10 and 20. And simply, if it wants to go higher and chop around up here, there's just nothing to do. All right, so price is pushing higher right here. So it should be coming against that 10. So let's see if we can uphold that. I mean, not that 10. I mean the 20 right here. So that's what I want to see. So as long as we don't, like I said, consolidate or anything like that, we just immediately start creating the setup. Then, it's something I would still take a look at. And one thing as well is this breaker structure right here. It doesn't necessarily mean that price wants to go on an uptrend, which I feel like a lot people think one break. Most of the times, what I notice is when you get one break, like if say if price was trending in one direction, like how it is now, it's on a downtrend. I say when you have like a major downtrend, right? There's something on a daily time frame where it shows you two breaks or more. Whenever you get like a break of a high and a downtrend, an overall downtrend, the likely target is just a low. And that's just because structure needs to happen on all time frames. So think about it right here. I'm not saying it's gonna exactly play out like that, but it's all about probabilities. This move right here, this taking out this high right here, is just some type of higher time frame structure getting filled in to probably continue lower. And if you look at it, you can probably find multiple examples. Break lower, break lower, break lower, breaks this mini high, continues lower, breaks lower, breaks lower, breaks lower, breaks this high, continues lower, breaks lower, breaks lower, breaks this high, makes a double break right here, but it's not significant in terms of it. Well, it depends. Was it? Yeah, it's been trending for a long time, so that is significant. This double break right here doesn't mean anything compared to what the higher time frame. That's why I use multiple time frame analysis. You can basically just see that everywhere, especially with gold right here. Even on the lower time frames right here, break up, break up. We got this small break lower, breaks up, break up, break up, break lower, break up. Let me see what gold is doing. Oh, gold is actually pushing up even more. So it's actually starting a trend right here. Gold is actually looking good. So just in case, now that I'm looking at it, just in case USD JPY really doesn't want to set up, now I have another market I could potentially take a look at it. That's how like my brain works when it comes to looking for potential opportunities and stuff. Like I'm always prepared. Like I'm mostly prepared. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm perfect all the time, you know, but mostly prepared. Like I check the news. I know that there's red news coming out at 2 p.m. So I know I gotta be cautious whether I want to maybe if I'm in a trade, close the trade early or hold it, depending, depending, taking it making it risk free is of course. Yeah, USD JPY is still doesn't look bad, but I do like how gold is looking. So I'm gonna put that in green. I don't think I like Bitcoin. Yeah, I don't think I. Let me organize all this. It's gonna take a few minutes for it to set up. That's why, like, I'm comfortable with switching. Let me put this in red right here. Gold. Yeah, because the 5 hour we're moving nicely. Let me see what the context time frame is. Yes, this is actually moving. I probably missed the opportunity here, didn't I? But it's still good that I waited. I wanted to wait on purpose though, so I technically didn't miss anything right here because if you watch the beginning of the stream, I said like, okay, it kind of looks good, but I would want more of like a move to happen. Like this candle's just confirming that move right there. So even though I was like, 'cause I drew out, this started the move right here. But basically, gold looks like it can do some type of setup because we already took out the high right here. We can make a, let me see the consolidating. So you can even study, like you can go back and study these areas too. Like even this would be an entry, small stop. Um, if it comes back, it would be just a break even or whatever. But I'm not looking at that because um I have to wait a little bit more. But you could just study those type of areas in terms of looking at multi time frame analysis. But gold definitely looks good. We have a breakup. So yeah. Now I can even so make it even better for confirmations because since this time frame is kind of like disaligning right now with this bearish structure, break the high and break the low. I could even wait for the price closes above the high right here. That would input a double break of structure, putting it back in line with the higher time frame as well. So I could just wait for price to close above the high and then we repause against the 10 and 20. So yeah, that actually looks good for a trade idea for me. And basically, I'm just gonna wait for this type of setup right here. It has to look clean where we just come down into it and then we create the setup. Come down into it, create the setup. That's all. If I can just draw a line, like get rid of all these lines, I just be drawing. It'd be fun drawing on these charts. Got so many lines. Then I could also take a look at some of the stocks. So I'm just basically I'm just getting prepared. Whatever doesn't get set up, I can take a look at the next thing that looks clean. So these two look good so far. I can definitely tell there's some type of 1 minute entry too. I could tell. Like everything is fractal. Like even this right here, who knows? Maybe I'll take it for a challenge because this looks clean. Flush down close to the 50. Creates a setup, reject. You know, probably be a nice move higher. Yeah. Um, like I said, there'd be better things to look at than Furious. It's just such a large range. Yeah, yeah. One thing I can look at, take a look at is what the stocks are doing now, because since it's open, I can just see what it's doing right now. Yeah, whole lot of nothing. Look at this ugly area. Ew. I don't look at an ugly area and be like, how can I trade this ugly area? No, why would I want to trade the ugly area? The price is if the price is telling me, oh, it's not setting up good. Why would I trade it? Why would I want to trade it? Other than impatience. So yeah, so far USD JPY or gold looks pretty decent. So no, we can get this break of the high. That's what I want. Ooh, if I was to just do an example like trade, like say if this happened like somewhere else, this is exactly what I would look for right here. Like, no, we made the impulse, we made a pause. We're um like we're above the MAs, rejecting slash above those are basically what I consider like rejecting, not like breaking through the MAs, right? Then simply I would put the stop loss where the ATR says 6.64. So something like this right here. And then basically it would already be at break even by the 1 to 1. And then I would just trail with the 10. And as long as it breaks, when it breaks, um, the profit would be at least 2R, which means this 2 times my risk, and I will close it. But with that being said, sometimes I can just shoot up to a 3R and then reverse instantly. But there's gonna be times where prices just holding up, and then I end up boom closing at a 6 or 7R, or really, or no, it can happen maybe 12R. But I don't come into the market expecting the market to give me 12R or anything. I don't expect the market to give me 6R. I come into the market just to follow the rules. That's all I do. This is looking so clean for a challenge trade. I might just take a challenge trade. I ain't gonna lie. I'm if I'm taking it because it looks clean based on what I can tell from. Yeah, this looks clean. I'm about to take a challenge trade. If I miss it before on setting up the order, I miss it. Well, I'm taking a challenge trade. Where is it? This is my challenge. This is one of the accounts that I'm down. I'm up on one of the accounts, but I'm gonna do this one right here. I probably missed the entry by now. Probably. I'm not too pressed if I don't get it on the 1 minute. Yeah, let's put a stop in. Yeah, I'm probably gonna miss the entry. What's even the risk? I don't even know the risk. I'll probably just market execute it. I probably can't even have much risk on it. This is a good challenge entry right here. I don't want to do too crazy. Let me just do low right here. I can just mark it. I'll take the risk on this right here. Yeah, I took the risk on this challenge trade right here. Just risk it 1% because I can't. I don't think I can risk what I want to risk on 1.5 on it because it's such low of a time frame. Yeah, the opposite is just under here. So in terms of a 1 minute entry, this doesn't make sense. This is a challenge trade. Um, I'm also recording a series for y'all, so I'm gonna quickly get up my camera for this challenge trade I just took, and just record this part of the video. You know, if y'all want to watch my 500K challenge series, it's on my YouTube and the progression of it. But I was like, this looks actually clean for a 1 minute entry. I'm not taking it for the funded accounts because I want to stick to the 5 minute. So I just got an entry for my challenges right here. For one, actually, for my funded FX on a 1 minute right here. So we're just gonna see how it goes. That's how I record my trading. So basically, what I'm simply doing is if it gets to, it's just the same thing if I was taking this from my own funded account. Because price is fractal, it happens on every time frame. You just gotta use top-down analysis with whatever time frame you're using. So like a 1 minute, um, I used basically my you can use a 6 minute or a 5 minute for validation. You can see it's pausing nicely. Six time frame would be something like a 1 hour. So you can see like the basically the same thing is happening, but on a lower time frame scale. And yeah, and we'll basically just break even right here if it gets to there. So something like that. Put in, just put let me just put an actual alert right here. 3079 827 37 827. Okay. DE. Alright, like that. So it can either be a loss. It wasn't like a heavy risk or anything like that. It's just 1% for the challenge or whatever. And yeah. So back to what I'm waiting for. For personally, for if I'm looking for a 5 minute entry, um, need this. I would need this to first have like a confirmation close, and then we pause against the 10 and 20, and then I can look. By the time it pauses on the 10 and 20, on this 30 minute validation area, it's basically gonna look like what the 1 minute is looking like right now. It's gonna basically look like this, where we come close to the 50, maybe at the 50, maybe slightly under the 50, and I want for price to come up, reject against the 10 and 20, and then I'll set like a buy stop for that area. So that's basically what I'm looking for 5 minute. Then I can. So far, I would say gold looks the best in terms of if I was to pick between USD JPY. So far, gold is in the lead of potentially looking the best for setups. But yeah, I can monitor it on the 1 minute because I know whenever the 5 minute, if the 5 minute wants to get ready, I know what that would potentially look like. So yeah, I don't count these challenge trades at on my live, but I just wanted to take it because I'm still in the process of recording this video and stuff like that. So I might as well take it because it did look clean. So whatever the result, like even this there's something like even if it wins loss, I don't like consider it counting it as like towards live trading because it's not real money you can withdraw. But like if y'all just like my first thing what I do when I enter a trade, it doesn't matter what it is, but this is the thought process. So when I get a trade, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna assume it's a loss because when you're following your rules and you assume the trade is gonna be a loss, what you're doing is you're just focusing on the process, right? You're assuming it's gonna be a loss because you know losses fuels the wins, which makes a profitable system overall. So if I'm assuming it's gonna be a loss, okay, and it ends up being a loss, it just I don't get what would you call it? Because if you're assuming the trade is going to be winning, does the opposite. You're going to be more emotional, basically. And then if it gets to my break even area, I'm going to assume the trade is just going to be a break even. And if it happens not to be a break even, I'll be like, oh, I made profit on the trade. It's just a simple hack, given the fact that if you did the prior work, because it's not going to really work if you don't really know your system. Let me input 3074.99. 3074.99. There we go. I'm trying to get like everything accurate. Where's my stop? 3069.76. Because we're such on a lower time frame. 3069.96. 36. What the hell did I just do? 3069.76. Oh, 3069. 76. 30. Oh, 69. Right there. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. So which means my break even area would be slightly above. Yeah. worth price. This is I forgot to tell y'all this, but I said this in the last stream, couple streams. Either or where it makes structure like something like this and it breaks the high or the 1-to-1. So either one of those are fine. And simply, if I take a loss, I'm not gonna look at this area for another trade. And the reason why is, at that point, I would consider it like just not clear anymore. It will kind of start looking like consolidation, basically. So it wouldn't be wise to start entering another trade. So me looking at this is likely gonna be a loss. So I'm gonna just let it do its thing. Then I get to record it whenever it loses. It potentially, whenever it potentially loses. I used to trade all these challenge accounts at the same time on a trade copier, but then my Fund of FX did something and I can't use a trade copier, so I gotta trade them separately, which is annoying. Even though there is some benefits, if I'm up on one account, I can trade the other account and switch them over. But I wanted to pass them at the same time, which comes with a risk of failing them at the same time. I wonder what else I should talk about. Hmm. All right, so let me prepare to record this for, my YouTube video. You feel me? Let me, cause this looks like it's gonna be lost. Then I'll just do like a final update after. See, there we go. Lost. I'm gonna record this for my challenge video. So this challenge trade right here that I took ended up being a loss right here. It is what it is. I'm not looking at this area no more because now it can potentially just move sideways. It was just a one and done thing right here. If I just show y'all, if I look at where do I go to history? Right here. Is this it? I think it's this one. No, I don't think it's this one. That's wrong date. What? Open time. Oh yeah, it is the right one. So this is the result of that challenge trade right there. Keep y'all updated. There we go. So I got challenge challenge clip recorded right there. So we didn't take no losses for funded accounts or anything like that. But Simple like that. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? The most important thing I forgot to do was actually jot down this trade. I may just I'm gonna just start jotting down the trades for my challenge accounts. I'm not my challenge, my funded accounts, just to keep it all consistent with one time frame because I'll be switching over time frames. Or maybe it doesn't even matter. Actually, it don't matter. Let me actually. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go on bar replay so I can just take a shot of the exact entry. What I did for the 1 minute. I'm gonna put it in a bit later on though. I'm gonna just download the image right here, and then I'm gonna write what happened. This is how you can just document your trades, make improvements over time. Because this was a clean setup. It's not a bad setup at all. Not a bad setup. Download image. I'm going to 1 hour right here. And since it's such a low of a time frame, I'm gonna take one more photo of the daily so you can see. Okay, the overall picture was bullish. There we go. So those are the images I'm gonna take for that, and then I'm gonna exit out of bar replay mode right here, just like that. And now I can just wait. Okay, so we closed above right here, right? So what I'm going to, oh, one more thing I gotta do. Record the after images. Image right here. Image here. Download image here. Download. It's basically the same image, but whatever. Download it. All right, there we go. Now I can curl the chart. Curl the chart. There we go. Don't get me wrong. This was a good opportunity right here. Me personally, even though it's setting up something right here, I wouldn't enter it at this point based on my testing what I did. Um, like when price starts to usually after the first one starts to consolidate, even though it can break out of this area right here, I don't want to get involved right here. I just want it to be like a and it's done. Simple like that. Yep. So what I'm waiting for, the 30 minute has to move clearly. Basically, all I'm waiting for on the 30 minute time frame is for price to basically pause against either the 10 or the 20. That is it. Nothing more, ain't nothing less. Just a waiting game now. Just quickly check what it's doing for USDJPY. Just looking at now that I'm looking at it, USDJPY is in the lead. And just look at whichever one is in the lead. Yep, USDJPY is in the lead so far for potentially setting up now. So, because like I said in the beginning, we moved up, moving lower like that. So basically flush to the 50, kind of under it. Then we basically made a move. Let's see, above, not above. I'll probably wait for more of a move down before waiting for the impulse to pause, then the sell stop. So I'll probably wait for. Look, everything still looks clear. Yeah, so I'm gonna wait for it. So it's all a waiting game. Patience, patience, patience. Honestly, I'm just waiting between gold and USDJPY. You can see that area I took the trade for my challenge and ended up going up either way. So it was just a timing error. But I'm just seeing which one is gonna set up. So I'm gonna analyze. I just like drawing stuff, but it's the same thing. Just a move out, small pose against that 10, 20. What I don't want to see is price doing something like that, where it like breaks the high. Because at that point, it would be like a clash of alignment, because that would be like a double break. It would probably be flush into the 50 on the validation time frame, so it wouldn't be valid. Because at that point, price can chop around at that area. Oh, my box over here. Hold on. How my consolidation box get up here? I actually didn't even realize that. So yeah, if I wanted to enter a trade, it needs to be like more down here, not inside this area. Because previously we consolidated right here. So price can easily come up in this, like I talked about earlier, can easily come up in this area and start chopping around. So I do need a significant move out before looking at this specifically. I will say the one of disadvantages of being on the lower time frame is just the actual sitting on the screen part. That's what I would say. Sitting on the screen parts and commissions. If y'all haven't seen my last video with the prop firm challenge series, go ahead and check that out. Go ahead and check that out. So notice like I always have a plan basically. So what I mean by that is if price does this, I'm gonna do this. If price do that, I'm gonna do that. A lot of people jump into this thing without having a plan. So my plan is like, if you notice, I always explain my plan. So if price ends up going up here, there's nothing for me to do because it's likely to chop around. So what will I do? Now look for trades on USD JPY. If price drops down and poses nicely against the 10-20 outside of this like consolidation range, then I can potentially put risk on this trade. Then once I'm in the trade, I also have a plan. So it's all about having coming into this thing with a plan in mind. Because trading is a business. Every single business needs a business plan. Makes sense. Because how are you gonna operate with no business plan? You just moving blindly, moving blindly. I know there's 3 minutes until I was waiting for to see if gold was making doing something. And so far, I can tell it's not so far because this candle closes in the next 2 minutes. So I would, in order for me to even look at gold, um, the next 30 minutes after this, so after 3 minutes, so around 11 o'clock, I would need price to pause against at least the 10 or 20, one of those, and then I will look for the opportunity. It will look really clean if it did it, because basically it will look like this right here. But yeah, it will basically look like this, and then all I would have to do is just trail it with that 10 right there. So since that's gonna take a little minute, I can go back and just watch USD JPY, see if that's gonna set up first, whatever, you know. Now, when y'all stop focusing on, I hope y'all realize winning more trades doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be more profitable. And I feel like people could have a really, really, really good system, but they will look at their win rate and be like, oh no, it's only 30%. I need to change something up so I can have a higher win rate. When that's usually the more powerful systems are the ones with lower win rate on average, high RR. And it doesn't I don't sit here waiting to catch a 10R trade. No, I'm not one of those traders. I actually used to do that. I think like the beginning of 2022. Yeah. No, it was the beginning of 2022, middle of 2021. I used to just aim for a 6R all the time. When that's not how I think, but you can on average you can on average gain yourself a very high R trade. So when you get yourself on average a very high R trade, you don't need to win a lot to actually make money. And that's with most of the traders, the actual professional traders. If you actually look them up, you see their win rates. It's around like 30 to 40%, which is actually pretty good. 30 to 40%. There's nothing wrong with higher win rate, but I just want to make that disclaimer or make that statement because most people think, oh, You have a low win rate, you must be losing money. You can still be losing money with a high win rate. Don't get me wrong. You can still lose money with a 80% win rate. Why? Because if you, let's just say, okay, your straight rate is 80%. If you end up deciding, or if you end up deciding to not follow your rules or whatever, and you end up over risking on one trade, it's not gonna matter because all your profits are gone. And so just you can still like I said, you can be unprofitable with a high win rate, and you can also be unprofitable with a low win rate. But it's about the edge of the system. So if I'm making more money on my winners when they do come, so I'm basically positioning myself based on what I studied, right? If I'm positioning myself um for the future, for um for my winners to be more money than my losses, and also taking break evens as necessary, then over the long run, over time, over the year, it's going to be profits, even though win rate sits at 30%. That's what my win rate sits at, 30 to 40%. That's why I'd be like, if you come on my stream, don't be trying to copy my trades because I don't have a high strike rate. You're gonna be taking my trades. You're not gonna have confidence in the way how I have confidence in my setups and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's still a good learning experience. Um, if you want to see like, oh, multiple trades combined makes the system profitable. That's all it is. Multiple trades combined and stuff like that. I'll be honest with y'all with that. Most strategies you're gonna see are gonna have that low win rate, but it's about putting the odds in your favor as well. So far, USD JPY not doing anything. Just not good so far. And if I was to do like an example, like what do I mean by you don't need to win a lot? So let's just say this setup happened um up here, right? This type of setup happened up here. That impulse pause. This is the same setup. You know, stops would be somewhere right here, right? Already up almost 4R, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna make 4R because of the rule. You know, if it breaks at 20 right now, as long as it's above a 2R, take the trade. But at the same time, it can still make more of a move where it's pausing on that 10 or makes a huge rejection through that 10 and 20 and continue higher. And now the way how you need to think about it is if you end up making a 6R gain, 3R gain, 2R gain. So let's just say you make a 6R gain, right? That 6R gain pays for the next six losses. It doesn't mean that you're going to get six losses next time. It just means it pays for it. If you get a 3R gain, it pays for the next three losses, given the fact that you're actually managing your risk. Stuff like that. That's all it is. Look, I'm gonna stop talking right now, and I'm gonna just wait. Okay. I mean, one more thing though, if y'all don't believe me about that win rate situation and stuff like that, all I gotta say is you're gonna learn along your journey. You're gonna learn along your journey, or at least look it up, or just look up top pro traders win rate or most profitable traders win rate. Okay. Just waiting. You can basically just see the cycle playing it out on lower time frames and stuff like that. So basically, what you see is, we have a flush. We have the first break, we have the second. Consider this the third, or you consider this whole thing the second, the way how it's coming back into it for potential 1 minute entries. So who knows? I may just take another trade for the challenge right here. Two losses for the day for the challenge, or yeah, if it could set something up like that, doesn't come. I don't want it to drop too deep into this area, not too deep, but and post pause against the 10 and 20. It's up. Even though I'm expecting price to fall down right here, price in a heavy uptrend, you can't really expect a pullback for real, or a deep pullback. Because the likely moves are continuations. So even though I'm expecting this down move for my actual 5 minute for the funded accounts, doesn't mean it's gonna actually happen. Because it could set something up on this 1 minute ticket for the funded accounts, and it just keeps going higher and higher. So that's the thought process for that. But if it wants to fall lower, it could either set something up, maybe take a break even loss, then it falls, and then that's when I could take my actual entries, or it can just fall and there's nothing to do. So yeah, I'm gonna be looking for another entry. Oh, this is my 5% account. Okay. Yeah, I'll take another opportunity if it could set up for my challenge only because it's on a 1 minute. So if it do set it up, I'll do something. You know what I mean? So something like that. Just so y'all can see, like I like when it just does a straight move, a relative straight move, and it creates it. So yeah, that can set up for the challenge. I'll take another entry. But mm, so based on like price behavior, I'll know if price is ready for my actual entry for a 5 minute for the funded accounts based on like how price moves on the 1 minute. So I know like it's just logic. If price ends up just dropping off right here, I know I can. It's probably gonna be around the 50 for just set something up for a 5 minute entry, and I can just take that for the actual funded account if it sets up properly. Then I gotta keep in mind the time right now is 10:42, so we got like an hour to stay on the charts before I just wanna leave. Alright. Um, so far, let me see how this candle closes. Ew. No. I'm just drawing a general area where I want to see, like, I just want price to come up above that area if I wanted to take a 1 minute entry for the challenges. Then I also I'm keeping in mind that it's 12 minutes till the 30-minute closes. Uh, Sorry if it's a bit confusing if I'm trading the challenge and the funded accounts at the same time, because I wasn't really meant to trade it like on stream. It's just I'm already taking challenges right now. So, all right, so what I see here is this drop right here. Right? Let me. This is actually perfect for. Yeah, this is actually perfect for looking for my funded account entries. This is actually perfect. Yeah, this is actually nice right here. Feel like we could create like some type of clean setup. You check what USDJPY is doing as well. Wow, it actually looks pretty good. Pretty good. Hmm. I rarely have two setups happening at the same time. I gotta pick which one I like better. Like in terms of gold, gold looks way better for guys. But in terms of what's setting up right now, I would go with like USD JPY because all it has to do is just pause and then sell stop. That's it. And then all gold has to do is um basically push up, pause, then buy stop. So both are valid entries personally. Not entries, but if we can get this pause, I'll take the I'll take my risk with USD JPY first, and that's it. If I end up taking a loss and there's room, there's still time, and gold sets up, I'll take another opportunity because my rule is no more than two losses in a day. So yeah, I'm gonna potentially get it. I'm gonna get this ready right here. This actually looks pretty clean. As long as we continue to move clean like this doesn't look too bad. What's that? Mm, mm, Yeah, that can make sense to me. Me put input everything. Just getting everything prepared. USD JPY. I'm just gonna mark it execute. If it gets below that low after pausing, yeah. Damn, they both look good. But I'm gonna go with USD JPY. That's that's the one I'm gonna go with first. That's what I usually do. Whatever one sets up like first. This one probably would set up in a few minutes if it wants to. One thing I gotta keep in mind it was moving. So I have to. If this ends up breaking through the MAs, then I can cancel this. And then if it breaks through the MAs, I completely don't want to watch USD JPY because it can end up chopping around. I just want like a one and done setup type, like I said before. And I don't have a set RR. I just manage the trade to see if I can get a run, like a potential trend out of it. Because we have been bearish. and it's moving in line with the structure as well, with what I talked about. Bearish structure, break of the high, potential, the low is the target, and then a one-to-one break even area, or the one-to-one or structure, whatever comes first. All right, this candle closed. Now we're gonna see if we can start moving through. And then I just keep the stop loss the same based on the ETR right here. So, so far, it's just rejecting off of it. Gold still looks good too. I'm just seeing how this candle is closing because we still have time. It can still reject. So just for y'all to see, this is again what I'm looking for. It's basically the same thing. Okay, it's rejecting. We still have 2 minutes left to make a potential decision. So a minute left to see what this does. I'm gonna call it a cancel. I'm not gonna look at it. I'm gonna wait for gold. It looks like it's gonna close through it, which makes this whole area gonna be invalid for me because now this area can easily turn into some consolidation, especially where it closed right here. So gold just had a clean flush out like that, just like this. So we can get that impulse pause impulse on gold, and I'll be glad to take the opportunity. So let's weigh in. So basically, what I'm waiting for is this right here, just the same thing over and over. So you move up right there, quick pause on the 10 and 20 or 20, one of those, and then buy stock for a continuation. So that's what I'm looking for right here. Okay, it's moving nicely in terms of what I want to see so far. So we just gotta wait for the on candle close. So right now, I still gotta wait some more because um just wanted to make a move like above the MAs just so it can pause like that. So we got 4 minutes left on this candle, so I'm gonna judge it based on what that candle does in the next 4 minutes. So far, it's moving good. Like if we have a close like that, that would be perfect for me to look for an opportunity. So if we get a, let's just say we had a close like that, the next candle pause without breaking through the MAs, and it's a clear entry for me, whether the outcome. So like I said, I'm gonna input all the images. The first image I took for my challenge, but I just take the images of the challenge as well, so I can stay those images as well. Those images are really powerful. So we got 1 minute for this candle to close. Like, even if it closes right there, that would be like a good spot for it to close. Wait for the pause. All right, so we got 12 seconds. Looks like it's about to close above the MA. So what I want to see now is just that pause I was talking about. So the next candle prints before taking out that previous candle's high, and then I could set a buy stop above the high. So let me see. Does it take out the can? All right, it took out the candle's high immediately, so I just have to wait for the same thing. So it's the same thing over and over. So I have to wait 5 minutes for this candle to print. Then I have to wait for another 5 minutes for another candle to print after it. That pauses. But other than that, it's moving. It's moving really cleanly with what I see in terms of what I like structure to look like. Break up, break up, break down. Assuming the target's the high, break up, break down. Assuming the target's the high, run an overall bullish trend. Yeah, time frame alignment. So it's all about just waiting. Then what you got to understand is even though I may wait, something like this can happen and it doesn't give me a setup. But you know, you have to be okay with certain those things happening because, like I said, during your back testing, those things happen, but it happened much quicker. So as long as we don't take out the high completely, I'm still valid to look for setups inside this area. So we got almost 30 seconds left. See how this candle closes. Then if price wants to give me an opportunity, it's gonna pause. If it doesn't, it's gonna probably go. Let's see what it does. Does it take out the high or does it pause? So we immediately took out the high right here. So it's the same thing. I gotta wait all over again. So as long as we don't take out this high completely, I'm still valid. Right. So if y'all can see this high right here, looks like it's gonna take it out. Let's watch it. I don't really assume it's gonna like. It's likely it's gonna take out the high, but it's still possible it could create a setup just before the high. But and it all depends of how the pauses look too as well. Because when it's so high up like this, you would want to see like a pause that really comes near the MAs like that for the buy stop. Me personally, for my strategy. Yeah, so it takes out the high right there. So now everything in this area is not valid for me to look for trades. I just missed the whole opportunity, even though I was waiting for this opportunity and that and I didn't get a trade inside of this area. You know, it's okay because I know opportunities like that will happen again if you understand what you're looking for. So let's see, it's 11:22 right now. Let me see what's the game plan. This candle closes in 30 minutes, so that one closes in 30. So honestly, let's see. Yeah, honestly, I probably should hop off the charts. The only reason why I'm saying that is in order for me to look for another opportunity, right? So I have to wait for this candle to close, whatever, right? Now I will need another pause to happen. So another pause like that for me to look for another opportunity. And that's already would take like 30 minutes. So on top of that, so by the time this candle closes, it will be 11:30, and I need another candle to close that pauses before taking out the high, which would be around 12 o'clock. And that's when I would really um just want to hop off the charts and just go about my day. So yeah, so just a recap of the day. No trades. No, I'm not counting the one that I took for the challenge because I don't count challenge trades for these live streams. But no trades for the day, no trades for the week, one trade for the month so far. And we're just being patient. So yeah, yeah, I'm gonna actually hop off the charts right now. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show tomorrow, show y'all my accounts and everything to show y'all I didn't take trades off stream like I do every time. And then we're gonna just wait for the same thing.